Okay, Podsters. So here's what we're going to do. You have a link in the show notes to print out a grid, if you will, of a number of values. I think I have like probably 70 or 80 different values listed there. I'm not going to read them all off. I did start to do that for the record, and it was taking way too long. So you're going to print these out. And if you can't and you want to follow along with the exercise, that's okay. I'm going to ask you to choose your values. So, and you can just come up with these. Is it confidence? Is it career? Is it family? Is it balance? Is it joy? Is it ease? Is it success? Is it being of service? Is it resiliency? Is it kindness? What is it that is so incredibly important to you that you have to have this in your life? Is it courage? Is it curiosity, creativity? So I'm listing all these out if you're trying to come up with them. So pause the recording if you need to and really think about what is most important to you in terms of values. I want you to write them all down and then come back. So if you're following along and you're on the grid, you will have circled your top 10. If you're in the exercise that I gave you, circle your top 10 values. So this could be any number of or any combination of the values that are listed on this grid. And if you're not following along on the grid and you wrote them down, if you don't have 10 values, that's okay. If you have 20 values, I want you to try to narrow it down to 10. So let's pause and you're going to narrow it down to 10. And if you're following along in the exercise, you're going to circle your top 10. So now you're going to, out of those 10, you have to choose 3. And this is going to be hard because if there are 5 things that are really, really important to you, it's hard to prioritize them because they're all important. You will exhaust yourself. You will put unrealistic expectations on yourself, and you will never feel fulfilled if you try to achieve all of or try to live in all of these values that you listed. So you have to break it down to 3. So I'm going to ask you to pause and really think about it and break it down to 3. Okay, so if you've narrowed it down to your top 3, and I'm going to share with you mine. So my top 3 are integrity, trust, and joy. So these right now in my life are what are most important to me. So if I'm not able to live my life with integrity, that is a very red flag. If something's happening around me, and it's interesting because trust, as I mentioned, it's changed. It used to be me having trust in my leadership, and now it's people trusting that I'm going to help them, people trusting that I have their best interest at heart, people trusting that I am authentic and that I am who I say I am, and I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And then joy to me is everything, because what's it all worth if you can't live your life with joy? You can have $1 million in the bank, but if you're miserable, what's the point? You can be surrounded by family and friends and living this beautiful life, but if it's not bringing you joy, you need to reevaluate. So to me, joy is everything right now, right now. So now that you've identified these top 3, these are your value pillars. And I put a little page on the worksheet. So it's pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3. So again, for me, it's integrity, it's trust. You know what? I'm going to change that. Actually, I'm going to go authenticity. They're my values and I can change them if I want to. Integrity, authenticity, and joy. Because to me, authenticity, it also speaks to trust. So if I'm authentic, then people trust that what I'm speaking is the truth. So integrity, authenticity, and joy. So those are my 3. And I'd love to hear what your 3 are, Podsters, by the way. Shoot me a note. I know a lot of you have been hitting me up on Instagram lately. And LinkedIn, your notes, I see them and I respond to them and they bring me so much joy. And that's one of my values. So let me know what they are. So these 3 pillars, this is your true north. And this is where if something's happening and you're feeling unbalanced or you're feeling off or you're feeling like you're spiraling, which again, it happened to me. And when I get some distance, I will come back and talk to you about it. That's what you go back to. And it's like, well, what's happening with me right now? And for me, it was my integrity was being challenged. I wasn't experiencing a lot of joy. And, I'm always going to be authentic, but my authenticity was being challenged too. So when there was an attack on my values, it really, really, it was something. So, and I don't want that to happen to anyone else. So these are your 3 values. your three pillars, your true north, whatever you want to call it. So this is where, let's say you're interviewing for a job and you're not quite sure if it's the right fit for you. Will it allow me to live these three values? Let's say it's a client and you're not sure you want to take on this client. And I know there are a lot of us out here who we take on, we talk to a client and we're like, I'm not sure if this is going to be a great fit, but boy, I could really use the revenue right now, or I'm not sure if it's the right fit. I know I can help them and I want to help them. Go back to this true north. Will this allow you to live your truth and live in these values? If it's a project, if it's a partner, I mean, if you're thinking about your relationship and your relationship isn't aligned with these values, that's something that you need to take a look at and see what's going on, and if it's something that can be repaired or restored or reframed or whatever you want to use there. And I think I wish I had seen sooner that this is what was happening. Oh, now I get it. I'm not living my truth. I'm not able to live. Well, I was able to, but I wasn't living my truth because I was getting caught up in this stuff. And the minute I cleared my schedule, cleared my calendar, shushed and was just quiet for an extended period of time, I realized, okay, well, this is it. I forgot who I was, Podsters, and I'm going to get a little choked up because you need to remember who you are, because when your values are challenged and your beliefs are challenged and you're out of whack and there's all these red flags and you don't know what to do, it's really easy to forget who you are. Remember who you are. That will always bring you back to your true north. And that was something I wish I had done sooner. I've done it. I'm back. I know who I am and I remember who I am and I'm back and ready. So that's what I have for you today, Podsters. It's a shorty episode. I'm lining up some guests for upcoming episodes I think you're really going to enjoy. I am still on a buzz and a huge high from last week's podcast, which was a collaboration with Brenda Johnston. If you haven't caught us yet on Thrive Live on Thursdays, we're Instagram Live every Thursday, 11:45. We hop on for about 15 minutes and we talk about what's top of mind. Last week, we talked about values and living your core values. The week before that, we talked about what's getting in your way and what's getting in the way of your success. So I'd love to see you there. It's an open invitation. Keep all the DMs and emails coming, and they mean so much to me. And by the way, we are in 55 countries now. I am so grateful for all of you and for sharing these episodes, and for when I get a note that says, hey, I just did XYZ that I learned from you or from your podcast or one of your trainings, it is everything that I need to keep going. And I appreciate it so much. So Podsters, thank you. Thank you for showing up here week after week. I am going to be back next week with an epic episode. And until then, peace out. Let me know your values. I'll hold you accountable. And if you need help, let me know and I'll help you through it. See you next week, Podsters.